Hey guys, what's up? I am been sitting here and just struggling all day to come up with some kind of good horror game to record, put on the channel. And I think a lot of that's become an issue because I've all of a sudden decided to do a lot more streaming than I have been doing anything to put on the channel. And I ran into a curveball just the last day and a half where Streamlabs is kind of messing with everything. I don't know if it's Streamlabs or not, but I can't. There was a game today I wanted to play, and it was cold side, and it was lagging, and I had a backup game, and I played that one, seemed to be fine. I had another backup game, and that one lagged as well, and it got me very frustrated. Very, very, very frustrated. So I was sitting here thinking, I'm like, God, what am I going to play? What am I going to put on the channel? Maybe I could do that one that, not cold side, because I couldn't record it either. I don't know what's going on, but my software, anytime I would try to turn it on to record it, it would crash every single time. So that was a no-go. And I was thinking, well, I'll do the other one. And I don't know. I wasn't feeling it, even though it looks pretty cool. And I tested it. Seems like it would record fine. But I guess I need to shake my head open a little bit, or, the cobwebs of streaming or whatever's going on. And someone had told me, actually a few of you had told me a while back, that why don't I do a video about me? Because I've never done one. And, well, why not? I mean, I guess maybe a lot of you would like to know a little bit more about who I am and how I came to this crazy YouTube world and decided on what kind of content to create, what brought me to this crazy place. We'll start from the beginning, I guess. It's not going to be a really long journey because I can cut it down. I know how to cut this shit down, man. Anyway, so I was born in Boise, Idaho. That's Idaho to us native Idahoans. But most of my time, like from the age of 1 to 7, was spent almost literally in Southern California. Most of my mom's side of the relatives were there, and everyone seemed to like to be around them, and it was just a lot of fun. And I would spend a lot of my summers there. I didn't like spending too much time in Idaho. It's just very farmer, bohunk, kind of just boring. I like even though Idaho is high desert, Southern California is desert, and I like that feel. I like the people around me, and it had more of a vibe. And and my relatives there were just so cool and just so fun to hang out with, and then that just stuck with me for so long. And it was about 7 years old. It was like that just kind of stopped, because it was like, hey, my parents were trying to tell me, you need to start focusing on the task at hand here, concentrate on this, concentrate on that. It's not so much fun time now. They were really worried about that, and I guess I was too, but you're too young to really even care. So I didn't. I just, kind of went with it. But I was sad that, I didn't get to go back to Southern California as much as I wanted to. So basically my entire, childhood up to high school and beyond, was spent in Idaho, in Nampa, which is about 18 miles west of Boise. Very small, just farmer town. Really not much to it. Everybody knows everybody kind of place. The schools I went to didn't have huge, classrooms. My graduation class, I think, was, I don't remember. It was 150 or something like that. I know some of my cousins down in California, when they were, graduating class, they had a class of 900 or almost 1,000. I'm like, God, can't even imagine. So, kind of sheltered. And that became kind of a really big issue about the time I hit the age of 13. And the reason being was I got to that point, in your teenage years, where you really start to feel those things down below. But I wasn't feeling them for the correct gender. or at least how anyone in Idaho would have thought. Very small minds. Yeah, I was feeling them for the same sex and not the opposite one. Damn it, how that worked out. And not only that, I wasn't really into the people that were my age. I wanted like much older, and it's just weird. I'm like, just that's what I was, kind of noticing myself being very curious about, if you want to call it that. Anyway, so long story short on that, I don't need to go into the details, but growing up gay in Idaho, whoa, that was tricky. And I eventually, as I got into my high school years, I started getting to know other gay friends, and how courageous some of them were that didn't hide it. But I did. I hid it very well. And when my straight friends would come up to me and say, "Why are you hanging out with that gay guy?" Of course, they didn't use the gay word. They used the F word, which I despise. And I'm like, well, they're just a friend, and they're a nice guy, or she's a nice girl, and, she's not the D word. She's just a really cool person I want to hang out with. It's nothing. Leave it alone. In general, as a rule, they would. So that was an issue. That was a huge issue. Because growing up there, it was like walking on eggshells all the time. I was worried that people would find out that I didn't want to have find out. But the good thing that I had on my side was I finally found something, actually two things, really, when I think about it, that helped me get away from what was going on in my head, and that was music. And my mom was very musically inclined. She grew up playing the piano, the violin, a couple other instruments, and I showed a huge interest in music when I was very young. And it was more, damn it, I hate it when I unplug that. Classical music. Really, really, really dug classical music. And Tchaikovsky was one of my favorites. Bach, Bizet, the standards, Mozart, that kind of thing. But the Nutcracker Suite from Tchaikovsky was like my favorite. And I would sit with my mom in my living room, or in our living room, and we would listen to this over and over and over, and my mom would say, "Now shut your eyes, and what can you see?" And I would describe to her what I was seeing in my mind through the music, and it stuck. And then eventually it, progressed towards rock, pop, and then I fell in love with, Led Zeppelin's my favorite band, as if you couldn't tell. And when I heard them, just everything took a turn, a twist, and I was so enveloped by it. I started out playing the piano. I went to the cello. Then I went to the guitar. I really liked the guitar, but I did struggle with it a little bit, and so I kind of would play it and push it aside, and I would hear a song I'd really want to learn, and sometimes I would struggle with it, and I would get frustrated, and I would just stop. Then one day, it was in junior high, we were able, to join a band, so concert band, and I picked the snare drum. I really didn't want to play anything else, I didn't want to do guitar. I was just like, no, I don't feel comfortable with it. I did wind instruments. I played a clarinet, which was really cool. I love the sound. Just has a really cool vibe to it. But I just didn't want to devote all to that. And so just to get, because I love music so much and I wanted to be a part of it, I thought, hey, well, I'll try the drums. Just check it out. And so I did the snare. And, and just, you play your snare, you have your sticks. And I learned how to play a timpani and just so, the triangle, hey, ding, 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 really hard. Yeah, all right. But I started to think about how much, I really loved playing the drum, the snare drum. And I approached my mom one day and I said, they have this jazz band next year I'd like to try, but I would learn how to play the drum set, learn how to use a kit. And so we immediately, my mom, without any hesitation, she got so excited about me getting really, actually, genuinely excited about an instrument, that ran out and bought this. It was a 6-piece pearl drum set, beautiful drum set, beautiful. And I actually wind up selling it to my friend Mike later down the road for dumb reasons. But anyway, I don't know why I brought that up. But so bought this set, and my band teacher's wife was a drum teacher for like the drum set, for whatever, percussion. And I started learning from her. And then what I would do, I'd come home after it all excited, and I'd put my headphones on and I'd play a song from Led Zeppelin, and I'd try to learn it, and I would play it until I actually learned it. I'd sit there like for hours and play and play and play until I learned it. And I loved it. The drums were so fun. And for me, just kind of came so easily. It was so quick. It wasn't like the struggles I had like with the piano or the guitar or all the other instruments. I learned like 9 instruments in my life, 7 which right now I can still play. And my 2 favorites being, of course, the drums and the guitar, even though I still struggle with the guitar. But that took me out of myself. It actually made it a little bit easier going to school, because I hated school, because I was always worried about someone finding out about who I was for real. That was a lot of pressure. It was scary, because if you were found out, you were ridiculed and you were pushed around, you were bullied. And I just wanted to get through school and just be done with it and move on. And so anyway, got through that, made it through high school unscathed. I never got my ass kicked or tried to get my ass beat by being a gay kid. But immediately after high school was over, something snapped. I couldn't take it anymore. And I don't know if it's because, hey, I'm out of high school, I don't have to worry about it anymore, but I still had to worry about my parents knowing. And that was even more nightmarish than anyone in the school. But I just couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't not be who I wanted to be. So I finally told him. And I was actually at a boyfriend's that night. And I just kept thinking to myself, because I think they know, but I have to know that they know. So I got really drunk, and I just picked up the phone, and I remember calling my mom. She answered the phone, and she's like, "Hi, what do you need?" I'm like, "Mom, I'm gay," and I hung up. I was so frightened, I hung up. And not more than like 10 seconds later, the phone rang to who they now probably knew was my boyfriend's house. And we had a little discussion, and the first things that came out of my mom and dad's mouth was, "Why were you so worried? We've known about this for years. We were just waiting for you to be honest with us." I'm like, sweet, great. Yeah, I should have known. They had actually questioned me about it a couple of times, and I was so afraid. I was like, "No, I'm not. I'm not. Me? Why would you think I was gay?" Ugh. Probably because I hung around men all the time, guys, and I never hung around. Well, I had girlfriends, but it was nothing serious, nothing I would get excited about, And I think they noticed it, and it took me a while to figure it out. I think they figured it out way before I did, probably, for all I know. Anyway, so after that jaunt and heading out of high school and finally entering the world, as it were, I decided to head off with my current partner at the time to Washington to pursue art, which I also had a huge interest in. I'd been drawing, I learned on Peanuts cartoons when I was a little kid. I would draw Snoopy and Charlie Brown and Linus and those characters, and try to write little stories and comics about them. And I kind of developed even more. I watched cartoons, and I learned kind of the anatomy by reading Spider-Man comic books, because the anatomy was actually kind of there more than obviously a Peanuts character. And started drawing from there, and I just wanted to kind of really develop myself, so I went to this school that was in Poulsbo, Washington, and it's out on the peninsula. It turns out that this school wasn't really all it was cracked up to be, and a lot of the stuff that they promised us, we never got. So we didn't get computer animation, which is one of the things I really wanted to learn. But we did have this really outrageously cool graphic design teacher who was from England, who taught me a lot of software, and essentially, mainly Photoshop and Premiere, and learned how to do, editing, stuff like that, little tricks and tips, which stuck mostly, and a lot of it just went right out the window, and I kind of wanted to do it the way I wanted to do it. So you might see it in my thumbnail. Some of them look like absolute shit, or some of them look kind of decent. I just don't really want to go through the work that's really required to actually make a really quality thumbnail, but I think that's going to change from now on, because I don't like the way my thumbnails look. They should look a lot better, and I think that helps with clickbait, so to speak. Hey, that's a really good looking thumbnail. Let's click on it, because it looks good, Anyway, so I spent my 4 years in this college. I got my degree. I got a bachelor's degree in graphic design with an emphasis on visual communications. And it never really went anywhere because it wasn't actually a love of mine. I just wanted something where I could actually get work. But then I realized, I'm like, do I really want to do work in this field? No. Because it's still kind of this passion of mine, but I don't want a passion of mine to become work. So I was like, I'm stuck. Well, unfortunately, with that thrown on my head, I got myself into a lot of trouble. Because Seattle, you can get into a lot of trouble really quick, especially when you come from a small town. And drugs were very easily accessible, a little too easy. I always had drank quite a bit, and I think that's just because maybe my upbringing and being so stressed and always worrying about this and worrying about that, that the first time I ever drank, which was like the age of 15, it felt really good. It was like this escape. All of a sudden, all my problems and my worries just went poof. And then I ran into other fun things that made you just kind of stop forgetting about those little problems in your life. But then started noticing that they were just making those problems worse. So I got help for that because it got really out of control. I got into a lot of trouble. I was arrested 3 times. I'm not going to say what for. Just know that I was a bad boy. I was a very bad boy in my 20s. Not good. I was just a little shit and didn't know any better, but I thought I knew everything else, and I got in trouble, and I quickly started learning my lesson, and I stopped using those toxins. I'll just call them toxins. And I have not touched those for, good Lord, like 20 some odd years now. Yay! I still drink, and I know I have an issue with it. I'm not going to deny that. I do have an issue with it. That is set in stone. It's one thing I have a little bit better time controlling, but once I let it get out of control, that's when I stop. And I think you guys, longtime viewers of mine, know I've done that before. I'll probably do it again. It's just how it is with me. I try to keep it under wraps as much as I can, but it's just one of those things that I guess until maybe it really kicks me in the ass is when I'll stop if I need to. I myself really don't know if it's a complete, total horrible problem, but it probably is, but you don't see the writing on the wall. You know how it is. Anyway, so spending all that time, I finally met another partner up in Washington who desperately kind of wanted out of Washington, and I was really wanting to go back to Idaho because I was used to that nice, beautiful air and blue skies, and if you had clouds, it's because you had this really cool storm blow in, and you'd still have that warm breeze come in. It was just wonderful. Washington is not like that. It's like dismal and gray all the time, and it kind of makes you very depressed. And if you're someone that's already kind of depressed already, it doesn't help. So we visited my parents, me and this partner of mine, who eventually we did a commitment ceremony together and decided to move back down to Idaho. And I was ecstatic. I was just jumping up and down and like, oh my God, I'm back here. And it was so wonderful. And I'd forgotten how incredible that Idaho was when it comes to like its geographics, its nature, its climate. And I missed it. And seeing some of my old friends and my family was there, and people having barbecues down the block, and it's just like, it was just, oh my God, this is home. I'm back home. And so we actually got into a house, bought a house. My parents actually helped with it because at the time there's no way I could have afforded it. And not more than, and it's, well, let me retract a little bit. Everything was beautiful, wonderful. In my opinion, everything was amazing. Then about 3 years later, I was informed that my mom was very, very, very sick. And concerns rose, and the world came tumbling down, and she died. And I was informed after her passing from my so-called wonderful partner that my father, this was about a week after my mom's funeral, that my father had stage 4 lung cancer. And I remember thinking that my whole world was going to change. You don't think about it at the time when everyone's around and there's no fear of losing, someone so close to you. And I kind of curled up into this ball. And to make matters worse, not more than 2 weeks later, I came home from work, and my so-called great partner informed me that he was leaving. Just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He's just leaving. My father's dying, who actually helped out this man, this partner of mine, in many different ways. But no, I'm just going to leave you in the middle of the midst of all that's happening. Your mom just passed away. Your father is dying. But hey, I'm just going to fuck off and leave. And that's exactly what he did. The next morning, there was a moving truck in the driveway. And by the time I got back home from work, he was gone. It took less than 24 hours. And the downward spiral hit. And I tumbled down it pretty deep. And I didn't do any drugs again, but man, did I hit the booze a lot. I was pretty much drunk 24/7. I skipped work. I told them I needed to leave, and they said, take your time. Good Lord, your mom just passed. Your father is dying. And they all knew, my partner at the time, because he had worked at the same work I worked at, and they had learned that he had just up and took off during all this shit. And so they were very understanding, but I abused it. I was like, I just basically took whatever checks I could get and my sick time, my vacation time, cashed them all in, and just, soaked it for all it was worth. And it was, a good 2-3 months before I started going back to work. And I was still a mess, and I was still a drunken idiot. And my father would ask me a few things about, what was going on with me and how I was doing. And he would ask me to go on trips with him to see, family of his. And I was just not right in the head. And I just denied some of those things that he really wanted to do. And I don't want to say I regret it, but I do. Because that would have been a really nice thing I could have done for him. And about a month later, he was gone. He passed away. And then it really took a toll. And it was about a year, I think, that I finally started crawling out of my burn the black candle, you know, everything sucks. I'm depressed. I don't deserve to live kind of crap. And a friend of mine had walked up to me one day and was very concerned. And I kept all this stuff from our commitment ceremony from my ex who fucked off. And he looked at me and said, "Come with me." And he started grabbing all the stuff that we had from this commitment ceremony and putting it in the trunk of his car. I said, "What are you doing?" He says, "Come with me. You're coming with me. You need to come with me now." And at this point, I really didn't care. I was just like, all right, what are we doing here? So he went out to a shooting range. And he started lining up pictures, the vase that we had that had the little doves, and we had these doves that we had for the commitment ceremony with flowers sticking out of it, you know, congratulations, this and that, welcome to the family, that kind of thing. And he says, "Shoot him." I was a little confused at first, but I think I know what he's getting at. Me not having shot too many guns, but this day I got to try out a Glock 9, an AK-47, and a 38. And the first few shots, the first gun I picked was an AK-47. It's automatic, and I'm not a really good shot. And this is, you know, a good, I don't know, 100 yards. Well, not 100. I don't know how many yards. It was a good distance. Let's just put it that way. 200 feet, 300 feet, something like that. And when I saw the first bullet puncture that vase, literally almost felt like something in me had just let go. And I just kept shooting and shooting and shooting. Finally, it was all gone. And I'm not joking when I say that Zeppelin has just jumped on the back of my chair. This is my cat Zeppelin. Yes, Led Zeppelin. But hey, sweetheart, you got to get down, baby. I'm doing stuff. So anyway, that cleared a lot of my head. Amazingly, like a week later, I started to snap out of it. Really snap out of it. And I remember watching a lot of YouTube videos, like tons of them. And I never really had done that before. Let's Plays. You know, I watched PewDiePie a lot. I kind of watched Markiplier, but he was more annoying to me than anything else. He just annoyed me. I don't know why. And I thought, you know, my friend Jake, I had gotten moved from Florida to stay with me so I wasn't alone. And he's more of a techie guy. He says, "Why don't you start doing that yourself?" I'm like, that would be really cool. Let's just do it. And I never, you know, myself, for doing YouTube, I never actually wanted any kind of success. I wanted to do it because I think I would really enjoy it. And the first time I did it, I think it was a Peggle video. It's just like a Peggle video that I was playing on my PlayStation. And that was so cool. I'm like, and no one commented, but I saw that like 8 people had watched it. And I'm like, someone actually watched it. Hey, that's really sweet. Let's do something different. And so I started doing Dark Souls, games that were more, you know, to the time and what people were playing. Amazingly, I didn't get into Amnesia. I don't know why. Maybe because it was just, I don't know. At that time, when it was huge, I never played it. I played the core game, but I never did custom stories, and I certainly didn't put it on the channel. And it wasn't until about like 2 years later, and I had never played a custom story. I'm like, you know what? Let's check one out. So I looked up how to, you know, you go to ModDB and you put it on here, and then put it in your custom stories folder and your folder, and you're off and running. And I tried one for the first time, and I still remember to this day which one it was. It was Tenebrous Lake. And I had the best time. It was amazing. It was like this whole new experience of Amnesia. And I'm like, oh my God. And I knew there was a ton of these stories out there, and I'm like, fuck. I got to play more of these. And so I started playing more, and I played like 10 of them in one day. Just like was hooked. I'm like, this is awesome. Oh my God. I was even not minding full conversions at the time. I'm like, they were just, it's something new and different that I hadn't played before. And I'm like, this is so sweet. And I'm like, well, let's put it on my channel. Let's just see what happens. Back in the day, in 2011 and 12, which is, here's like 2 years later, like in 2014, I think, or 15, not sure. Let's try custom stories and just see what happens. Because I was really thrilled when people would actually watch the video. I still wasn't really getting comments. I wasn't getting thumbs up or thumbs downs, likes or dislikes. Just no. It was just a video people would watch. Then all of a sudden, I posted, I don't remember which custom story I did first, but I enjoyed it so much and I loved editing it. It was so much fun. I kind of watched old Felix videos just to see how he stylized his editing and kind of learned from it. But I always wanted to be myself, and I try my best to like be myself when I'm in the game. But the game scared me so much. You kind of step outside yourself, to just kind of get through it. But I started uploading the custom stories, and the next thing I know, I have 100 subs. I was like, what? I'm like, and currently right now I only have like 600 and some odd subs, and I've been doing it now for what, 6-7 years? It doesn't show for much. But again, I'm gonna say it. I never planned on it to be something that was supposed to blow up or get super huge or get rich and famous. I do it because I really have a lot of fun. I have a blast. And it took me out of myself. And I stopped doing stupid shit. And I wanted to work. And I wanted to have a good relationship with someone who was honest and genuine and true. And I wanted to have a life, a happy home. And I just started noticing things because this started taking me out of that negative space and putting it more in a positive space. And so I just kept doing it and kept doing it. And I started to meet, the viewers and people in the community, and met some really amazing friends still to this day that I talk to. And just been this phenomenal experience. And of course now I'm just trying to branch out, and just do different kind of horror, or like, and as you know, I do some other things. Like I've done Binding of Isaac, Undermine, BioShock. Good Lord, I did BioShock. Even though BioShock kind of can be labeled as a horror game, it's got some crazy shit in it. I mean, crazy, creepy shit. That's for damn sure. But so with that said, that would be, someone asked me the other day, like, why custom stories? Why did you choose this? It's dead. It's really, you're only going to get this fan base of, a certain amount of people, and it's just going to kind of stay there. And I realize that now, and I kind of realized that from the very beginning, but it's not why I'm trying to branch out. I'm branching out because I'm burned out. Too many custom stories. Way too many. I would be very surprised if there's anyone else on YouTube, or maybe this earth, that has played as many custom stories as I have. And the good news is, I have proof. Look at my channel. Jesus Christ. And why the custom stories? I absolutely love them. And that was the one thing that really took me out of myself, even though it was scary. But I really enjoyed doing the videos of it. It's not like, when I've done other videos, some of them I didn't really enjoy that much. I didn't get that kick, that charge of making a video and editing it and being really excited about posting it onto the channel. And it's not because I get more of a reaction either. It's just that I really enjoy it. And I think the reason that people did start watching me is because I was excited about it, because I do enjoy it. Where some of my other videos were lackluster because, well, I didn't really want to really post it on the channel because I wasn't that excited about it. It's a game, maybe I really enjoyed the game, but it didn't have that energy and that vibe that it gives me. And that's why custom stories happened, and they kept going and kept going and kept going until finally it plateaued and I got burned out. And I'm just like, I really want to do other stuff. Period. And that's why I'm doing the other things that I'm doing. And I'm starting to stream now more. Still got to figure out how that's going because, man, every time it gets good on my streams, something goes wrong. Software, the lagging that's happening lately. Good Lord, I'm just cursed. I'm fucking cursed. I don't know what it is, but I'm cursed. But some other people that, before I finish up, because there's really not much more to say. I married this wonderful man, John. You know all about him. My best friend Jake lives here with us. He's just a really cool friend, and it's nice to have someone help with the bills and someone to talk to when you don't want to talk to your significant other. There's always those times. We have 4 insanely cool cats. Actually 5 when you think about it. We have an English bulldog named Sis that we've had for quite a few years now. She's getting old. And of course you all know about my recent new addition to the family, Bear, who's my chocolate lab. And she's fucking awesome and I love her so much. And she's helped me with a lot of situations too. You know, where I'm kind of sitting thinking too hard and she'll come in the room and I just like automatically, oh, Bear. And you're just like, I'm gonna cuddle and ooh, doo, doo, doo. And she licks me in the face and it's really fun. And yeah, so that's all, you know, custom stories. I mean, I think that's what I was trying to lead to, is like up to this point, because that's, you know, what a YouTuber or a Let's Player does when they do this about me thing. It gets to the, okay, why did you do the channel? Why the content that you chose? And maybe why you're changing it. And I just want to change it because I'm burned out. And it's not really changing the actual content itself. It's going to be horror. Mainly horror, because I just love it. And I think that's it. That's where I get my charge and my vibe from, is horror games. But I also do like doing other stuff too, like Undermine, Binding of Isaac, those types of things. But it's not like horror, man. Horror is the best. Love playing it. So that will continue no matter what. But before I close it off, there's some people had asked, like, you know, just one other thing about me would be like, 2 things they wanted to know was my favorite games, like of all time, and my favorite other Let's Players, YouTubers. So games, I actually had to put a list down because, goddamn, there's a lot of them. But these would be my absolute favorites of all time that I always can go back to. I could play them again anytime I want, and I'm still going to get a lot of joy from them. And I'll just go down the list. BioShock 1 and 2 were absolutely amazing. The stories were incredible. The characters were amazing. My favorite enemy, my favorite antagonist in video game history, for me, is Sander Cohen. What an amazing character. Oh my gosh. If you haven't played the BioShock series, Infinite, meh. But at least play BioShock 1 and 2. Fucking amazing. Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Old game, that's so good. Amazing. Wonderful. The music, top notch. Amnesia, of course. The Dark Descent. Resident Evil 4. I liked the first 3, but they broke new ground on 4, and I thought it was amazing. And anything after 4, I think, you can all say, what? But I've said it before. Anything after number 4, I think, is crap. Resident 7, Village, all that. Hate them. Undermine. Just started playing Undermine, and I absolutely love it. In less than a month, I've put almost 300 hours into that game. It's a lot. Binding of Isaac. Dark Souls 1 and 2. Those are my 2 favorite out of the Souls franchises, 1 and 2. I probably have the best luck in number 2, because I have a good route and I understand it. But anyway, Dark Souls 1 and 2. Very good games. Prince of Persia, the first one, Sands of Time, I think it's called. So much fun. The parkour in it, I loved it. The combat system was really cool. Just a great game. The Uncharted series, all of them. I love all of them. Uncharted, beautiful game. Naughty Dog is just top notch. Tomb Raider 1 and 2, the old ones. Old school. Pixeled. I grew up on those, and absolutely, I was hooked. Hooked. Lara Croft, girlfriend. If I was straight, you and me. You and me. Zombie Army Trilogy. Really fun zombie apocalypse game. you can play co-op with. It's madness. It's crazy. But I think one of the better ones when it comes to zombie titles. Rainbow Six Vegas 2, one of the only FPS games I really enjoy. They have a terrorist hunt mode on it. And me and my friend Darren would play it all hours and just have a blast. Just so much fun. Haunt the House. Look it up on Steam. Look up Haunt the House Terror Town on Steam. Load of fun. You get to go in a house and scare people, and they can jump out a window. It's really cool. Peggle. Yeah, look up Peggle. You bounce a ball through this thing, and you hit these. Yeah, you bounce a ball. And one of the only racing games I've ever really enjoyed, Burnout 3 Takedown. It had a crash mode in it. God, that was fun. Oh my God, I spent so many hours on that game, and I still love it. If I could find Burnout 3 Takedown and somehow play it now, I would play it for hours. I'll guarantee it. It would not have changed for me. Okay, so then to kind of finish it off, where I get some of my inspiration from, sort of. There's only one on this list that I kind of get some inspiration from. My absolute favorite channel, without a doubt, is John Wolf. This guy, I just love him. He's so honest and so brutally honest. He used to be called harshly critical, and that's for a reason. If the game is bad, he's going to tell you. And he comes at it with a good point of view. He's not just saying, "Oh, it's bad because I don't like it." There's reasons, and he knows. But he's he's got a great wit. He's funny as hell, and I just love the guy. I could watch him anytime one of his videos pops up. I'm on it. Boom. And I guess my second favorite would be 8-Bit Ryan. He's just a load of fun. His editing style is unique. I think a lot of people copy him. Hopefully he didn't copy some other people, but I think his editing is top notch. And he's very concise with his commentaries. I love watching him. Just a lot of fun. The Rad Brad. I think everyone knows pretty much about the Rad Brad. Ella Jazz is my favorite Dark Souls speedrunner. I watch a lot of his stuff. Even the non-Dark Souls stuff. He's just really good at gaming. And just fun to watch. He's Swedish. IGP, those guys that do really crazy fun walkthroughs of usually horror games. Mr. Gigi, who does like reviews like on movies, and he does kind of more like talk radio kind of thing, if you want to call it. He does some video gaming, but not much. Tyrannicon, one of my all-time favorites. If you don't know this guy, check him out on YouTube. It's Tyrannicon, Tyrannicon, Tyrannicon. The guy is awesome. There's actually two of them that make the channel, but I can't explain Tyrannicon without you actually watching it yourself. But just absolutely wonderful. I absolutely love Tyrannicon. And last but not least would be Gus Johnson. And if anyone knows, like, just crazy goofball videos, there's one of my favorites where he's like, when you bite your tongue, is all it's called. And he's eating chips, and he bites his tongue. And then this music plays, and he floats up into the sky and explodes. And I laughed for hours. I must have watched that video like 20 times in a row. He does shit like that. It just cracks me up. Puts a smile on my face. And that's what I like. I like being happy. And after someone who's been very unhappy for a long time and learning how to be happy again, I want to stay there. I want to stay there for good. I know there's still rough times ahead. I know there's going to be things that are going to happen. But if we all can learn how to cope with it better, the better off we're going to be. And we're not going to go to those dark places we don't need to go to. We're going to stay in that place where we need to be and move on and understand that things do happen to good people. And I guess if you want to call it that, it's kind of cheesy, but things are going to happen. Shit's going to turn, and you're just going to have stuff that you don't really want to have happen. It's just life, You got to deal with it. You got to cope with it. I think I've done a decent job. I still have bad habits. That's not going to change. But anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap it up for now. I've said enough. at least enough about me that you can probably know a little bit more than maybe you did. I hope so. I may have mentioned it all through this time through videos, but just never even realized it. I don't know. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for watching my channel. Thanks for being there for me when I need you. Because believe it or not, I need you guys. I really do. I'm like, I don't care if I get more. I like the ones I have now. I like you guys, and I like where you're at with me. And I like that you're there. And I want to keep it that way. So, anywho, I hope you're all staying safe. I hope you're all staying healthy. And I hope you're all having a fantastic day. And I mean that. Peace.